Welcome back, Bravehearts, to the Doc of Detox show. Today's show is Becoming a Powerful Woman, Discovering the Alpha Goddess Within with Simone Hodgins. So when we say discovering the powerful woman within, I just want to say this, that I'm actually, before I bring her on, I've been actually working on a master guide called I Am Woman. Meanwhile, I know I'm not a woman, but the reality is when I was doing some history, if you go back 5,000 years, okay, religion 5,000 years ago took away the power of a woman and then just crushed it, okay? And that's been going on throughout this whole 5,000 years. And guess what? You know, I got to tell you something. This is the God's truth. I was a nice guy, okay? And I always thought I was nice to women, yeah, compared to other men, but I was a chauvinist. And I really thought that women were put here for our pleasure. And the reality is this, you know what? We still don't look at women for what they are. Women live longer. They bring life into the world. They can handle more pain. And that's why we tried to undermine their power and steal it from them a long time ago. That's what men do when men can't find their own power and understand that it's teamwork that makes the dream work. What do you think, Simone?
Well, I think that you are correct because, yeah, it's really been thousands of years that women have been really pushed down. And even right now, we think that women are finding their power, but it wasn't until the early 70s that women could actually have, in Canada and the US, have a bank account without a man's name on it or a credit card.
Yeah. And so now what you've done is you've kind of dedicated your passion, your purpose to becoming a lifestyle coach to show women that it's not wrong and it's their destiny to reclaim their goddess power. Am I right or wrong?
Well, absolutely. Because I had issues in my younger years with self-worth, and, it ultimately led me into a really abusive relationship where I completely was stripped of my power and completely lost myself. And, it was my thing. It was a lot of us, unfortunately, human beings, we end up having to hit rock bottom before we have the epiphany that, oh, wait, something needs to change. And, so I had that happen to me 18 years ago. And I was there for a couple of years in that. I had a little baby. And it was really for my son that I wanted to give him the best version of me that he deserved. And so that's, I just kind of had this awakening. And when I decided that and made that decision, it was like there was God shifted things and moved things out of the way for me to just go on my journey and to really understand my power and claim my power. And I was able to go from that situation to, becoming an empowerment mentor that I work with a lot of women. Because I feel so passionate about women understanding the truth of who they are and their power. We have within us, like you said, the power that creates worlds. We have within us the power that creates life. We are magic on legs. Like, we're incredible, and we just don't see it. And it's been pushed down for so long. It's inside of us. And, it's our programming, it's our coding for so long. And, so it's really, really important that we wake up and step into our power. When I made the choice to do that for myself, I just, like I said, things just kind of moved out of the way. And not everything's perfect. Of course, since that time, I've had ups and downs, but it's evolution, it's growth, and it's what we're here for. And so if I have gone from that to a person that, I created a 7-figure business in a different industry. But for somebody who was literally, I had no money for milk for my baby or diapers, to a person that could create a company, it's not because I'm better or smarter or anything. It's because I realized my inner power. Right. And I stepped into it.
Right.
And that's what it's all about.
I think probably the hardest thing to do as a woman is to actually allow yourself to find your authentic self and then hang on to it. You know, I'm not saying I know women, but, you know,
Yeah.
I really believe that, you know, just from the earliest age, as soon as you're born as a woman, you're taught to be a server. And you know what? We all should serve each other, but not to the point that there's nothing left for yourself. You know, that whole thing that I talk about, self-love, self-care. I mean, self-love and self-care is not about, sure, it's part of it, but a very small part, you know, how you look, right? It's how you feel about yourself is the main thing. And how many women do you think really get to that point that they totally love, honor, and respect themselves, and they get themselves out of judgment jail, and they just start observing and creating their destiny? How many?
Well, you know, it's in the past, not that many, but now we're starting to see like there's a huge shift in the paradigm that we have been in. We have been, like you said, for thousands of years in a patriarchal system. And this masculine paradigm that we've been brought up in is that it's that women are lesser than, absolutely. But that you have to work hard, you have to hustle, you have to give. And we're moving now into a paradigm of the feminine paradigm, which is feminine energy, which is about, instead of hustle and fixing things, it's more about healing. It's more about tapping into that inner guidance,
Healing and feeling,
and really knowing your heart. Because when you understand, your soul speaks to your body, not your head. And most of us live in our mind. We live in our head. Our mind is a wonderful tool. It is there to keep us safe. Our mind only knows what our mind knows from the past, but our body knows what's up. And so our soul speaks to our body. And if our body and our mind have a coherent, our heart and mind coherence, then we can literally change worlds. Every one of us has an electromagnetic signature that we're broadcasting out into the universe, into the field. And as we elevate our emotion and our thoughts to become synchronized, rather than letting our thoughts control how we feel and cause our emotions that keep us in a lower vibration, you know, when we do that, we elevate our electromagnetic signature and we actually become magnetized. So when we understand our power as a woman and even as a human being, when we understand our power, external power is magnetized to us. But when we're overwhelmed by our own power, when we don't understand the power of our mind, the power of our heart, the power of our portal, when, you know, I mean, women literally have in their body a portal to the universe, right? We bring life through our bodies into this world. And so when we understand the power that we hold, it's incredible. But when we don't understand it, we're going to limit. And we're going to limit our abundance. We're going to limit our influence. We're going to limit our impact. We're going to limit all of it.
Yeah.
So moving into that feminine paradigm again is really about, like you said, for years we've been taught to be subservient. We've been taught to stay down. And, you know, we have it literally, it's in our coding. We energetically carry this imprint that, you know, we're not worthy, we're not enough. And really our net worth, when we look around at the circumstances in our life, is a direct reflection of our own self-worth and our own self-love.
Right. Well, you know, I think that women, if there's a time to wake up, it's right now. And the reality is because of so many toxins in the water, the food, the air, you know, women are the canary in the coal mine, you know. Like, let's take 50 years ago, you know, let's take, okay, first of all, let's take like over 100 years ago. They used to castrate women to calm them down. Okay. So let's understand that and calm them down, because men don't really want to listen a lot. Not a lot of men want to listen, but the reality is now, because the environment is so toxic, men have like 2 or 3 bells and whistles that go off. Women have like 300. Because why? Because they bring life into the planet. There's got to be loving in the oven. They have to be physically and emotionally well, or the baby won't be well. But see, that whole thing, the way drugs have gone, prescription drugs and the poison in the food, the water, like I just said. But now, when there's so many things that can go wrong. I mean, a man, we've got our prostate and bladder downstairs, right? Okay, and we got our testicles. But a woman has so much. It's control central. And that's why there's so many different surgeries right now. Women are in and out of the hospital all the time, and men are chopping pieces out of them. If women don't understand that they're creating the inflammation in their brain that then creates it in their body. And this is all about self-love and self-care.
Yeah.
And it's about finding it. And can you tell everybody what is it that you do? And before we do that, I just want to say something, women, and you better get this. Don't wait for the rest of the women, because very few women are still rising to their greatness. And unless you're going to take massive personal action, and I'm not saying this about Simone, but unless you have a guide and a coach that's going to guide and coach you, because the reality is if you don't change your personality and the things you need to change in your personality are things that aren't you, thoughts, beliefs, programs. And if you don't have a coach to do that, well, you can forget it. You're going to be 10, 20 years. Oh yeah, you'll turn the burner down sometimes to simmer, but it'll pop right back up, because whatever the prominent, dominant beliefs are in your subconscious, you're going to play them forever and a day. And then you're going to think you're crazy, and then you're going to need the drugs, and then you're going to need the surgeries, then you're going to need more drugs. And the reality is all you had to do was just go and get yourself a good guide and coach. I want to hear what you do. And honestly, everybody, she hasn't told me yet. So I don't know what her program is. So now we're going to find out. What is your program?
Okay. Well, what I do is I'm a mentor. And so as a mentor, I am working with women who are wanting to go to their next level. So, women that are understanding that they have hit a glass ceiling, or they're continually going through the same things over and over, whether it's emotions, or whether it's relationships, whether it's money, it's business, whatever is going on. So I walk with them to their next level. And as a coach, I teach and give them information to help them utilize that. Now, I'm also a healer. So, and I don't like to say, okay, I'm going to heal you. You're the healer. I teach people how to heal themselves, but I also, yes, I bring energy through and I help people to heal. I use ancestral healing because, like you said, we have been coded and imprinted, and healing isn't about fixing you because you're inherently wrong or there's something wrong with you. It's literally about letting go of the distortion that you have picked up. And this energetic distortion that creates limiting beliefs and thoughts, that creates a manifestation of sickness in your body. It's always in your field first, isn't it? It's always in the field, and it's in your energetic field before it hits the body. So if you can really understand how to let go of all of this stuff that you have been, carrying, and it comes from our ancestral lineage, it comes from obviously our experience in this lifetime. And so with ancestral healing, we know with epigenetics that we can change how our DNA expresses itself. And we also know that you carry epigenomes. These are little amino acids that are part of your DNA strand that carry this energetic imprint. And so these imprints, this energetic imprint, these are like literally coding in your DNA. So when you're born and all these things that happen around you, you calibrate with the things that are familiar, and those because they're safe, because they're familiar. And I want to remind you too, as a woman, when you are like, this is so incredible. When I think about when my grandmother was pregnant with my mother, I was inside of my mother already. I was in her ovaries, right? Like that, a part of me was there. And so not only was I energetically part of my grandmother's actual experience holding and, bringing my mother into this world, that I actually walked with my mother throughout her entire life until she birthed me into this world. And so when you think about not just genetics and things like that, but you think about energetically, the thoughts and the feelings, and when you're carrying a baby, how that impacts the baby. It really does. And so, and then of course you come into the world, and then you have all of these external programs and things running that add to the internal programs that you have running. And so we as women, we create this reality that, we have to work really hard. We don't get paid as much money. We are not as good as, we are not worthy. We have all this stuff, but it's completely untrue. And so what I do is I help women to release that, to step into their power, and really, I want to explain to you that I'm not going to say to you, I'm going to give you 10 steps to do this, or 10 steps to create this success, or 10 steps to create the man, or to manifest the wealth, because I want you to understand that each and every person here is different. And it's about you listening to your soul and acting from alignment. When I talked about the feminine energy, that we're moving into this new paradigm, and by paradigm, I mean structure. So there's a new structure in, how we are living as human beings on this planet. And the feminine energy is really about you being able to tap into your inner guidance and take direction and action from that place. So we marry the masculine and the feminine energies together. And when you do that, when the powerful force behind the actions you take is what's truly in alignment with your soul, then you create magic. Then you can create anything. And I mean, I am a certified law of attraction coach. And I was talking about this earlier today. So with the law of attraction, we're taught, thoughts become things, and get a vision board and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to tell you that, that's a lot about rewiring your mind. But there's nothing about really connecting with your soul. And it's so powerful and so important to remember that when you can really look at your life and look at the different aspects of your life and realize where you're safe, and that in all of these areas of your life that you are safe, you're not in like immediate danger, but you are safe, and you can find the ability to feel gratitude in that moment, to be present in the present moment, to know that you're safe, and that you're grateful for that, and you're grateful for where you are and everything that you've come through. And then you have that one other foot, so one foot in the gratitude in the now, and the other foot just ready to step into the desire. And to desire is of the creator. So the etymology of the word desire is of the creator, rather than being in this space of wanting. I want this and I want that. And when we're in that space, we're actually very much in lack, because we're so aware that we don't have it, right? And so I really bring people into a place of really understanding their power and how they can create anything they truly desire. Not what they think they can have, not what they've been shown before that they can have, but what is truly available to them. So.
That's
yes.
Beautiful. Where would I go to find out more information, though?
Well, you can go to my website. It is SimoneHodgins.com. And so it's SimoneHodgins. My dog is barking. SimoneHodgins.com. And I'm actually putting together a beautiful free masterclass. It is called Net Worth, and it is about understanding the value of you, your worth, and how it directly relates to the art of receiving. So you're going to learn about the art of receiving, because that's a big thing. As women, we spend a lot of time giving, overgiving, mothering, controlling, giving. This is masculine energy. And when we are able to really lean back and receive, that's where we can actually create some serious magic. So,
but this takes work. Everybody needs to understand that, the world is changing, but you can't wait for the world to change. Every woman out there, if you want your authentic self, am I right, Simone? You've got to take massive personal action, and you've got to make yourself accountable every day. And you've got to create a system that you're kind of watching how you think, how you feel, what you eat, what you do, how you react, how you
Yes.
attack everything. You got to start really, the challenge is observing you and minding your own business. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Awareness is key. Awareness is the key for you to be able to know where you're at, what's going on. And even if you were to set an alarm on your phone, I love to tell people to do this. Set an alarm on your phone that goes off once every hour where you can go, okay, wait a minute. Where am I? What am I thinking about? What am I feeling right now? Have an awareness in, are you running around completely disempowering yourself? Are you asking disempowering questions? Are you disempowering yourself by not loving yourself, in a way where you look at yourself and you criticize, or you make a mistake and you tell yourself you're stupid? Or like, how are you speaking to yourself? How are you treating yourself? How are you loving yourself? And, even when it comes to eating something, for example, is this, whether it's just something you're eating or something you're doing, is this in alignment with my highest good? Does this feel good to me? And I'm going to say, and maybe you're going to disagree with me, there are times where, you're going to say, is this dessert, for example, in alignment with my best and highest good? Do you know what? Sometimes it is, because it's about enjoying. It's about being in the moment. It's about, everything that you do when it comes from a place of feeling good is going to create and shift and create a different result. So when you eat the cake, for example, and you say, that was so amazing. I've been working out, I've been eating really well, I've been taking good care of myself, I've been drinking the water, I'm going to enjoy this piece of cake and I'm going to love it every minute of it. Then your body will receive that with love and it will be amazing. And when you say, oh my God, I ate the piece of cake, I can't believe I did that, I ruined my diet, I fell off the wagon, I'm so fat, then your body goes, okay. And it becomes a negative thing in your body. Like, we are programmable. We're energy beings. We are light, and we're geometries at the base of the light, but we are light, and we are, on a physiological level, we've got a lot of water in our body. And do you remember, Dr. Darrell, there was a Dr. Emoto who did the water experiments.
Yes.
Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, we're like 78% water. So he did the water experiments, for those of you that don't remember or know about this, where he took some jars of water and he labeled it with love, peace, and joy. And then he took some bottles of water or jars of water and he labeled it with hate, you make me sick. And this water he loved, and he prayed over this water, and this water he yelled at and he sent it hate. And when he looked at the water molecules under the microscope, the ones that were the love water were like crystalline snowflake structures. They were beautiful and amazing. And then the water that he hated on looked like brown blobs. It was, not healthy. It was awful. It was stagnant. It was dead, right? Very low vibration. And when you think about how you treat yourself and love yourself, speak to yourself, feel about yourself, what are the predominant thoughts that you have? What are the predominant feelings that you're having from those thoughts? That you realize that you are programming yourself to create the reality that you have on the outside. So you can say as much as you want, what? I'm very positive. I always think really good things. I've got a vision board. I say affirmations all day long. I talk about these things, but then you look at your life and you can't make money. You're struggling in your relationships. You are not happy with your physical body. You're sick all the time. That's why. That's what it comes down to. So, yeah.
Well, the sick mind came before the sick body.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that people are sick in their mind. It means that they have sick thoughts on a subconscious, unconscious level that are running them. So that's why the observation, that's why you got to mind your business. That's why you got to put a little mini you on your shoulder and really check that out. And what talking about water, the reason why I structure all my water, do you know why? Because water holds memory of the people that drank it. Somebody drinks the water and they're peed off, they're angry, they're sad. That's in the water. Okay. So that's why I structure everything I drink. It doesn't matter. The most important thing to me is the structuring of the water. The invisible is always going to be more powerful than the visible, just like the psychological trumps the biological.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, where are you going from here? So you have a course, and that course is coming up. When is it starting, or can it be done anytime, or is there a kickoff date, or?
Yeah, I do. I have a new program. It is called the Alpha Goddess, and
What does
this
that
is
mean? What does that mean, Alpha Goddess?
the Alpha Goddess. So the Alpha Goddess is like an archetype of the internal, the goddess who rules the inner realm. And so really connecting with your inner being and understanding your power, understanding why you came here, what you were meant to do.
Learning to be the driver of your spirit.
Learning to be the driver of your spirit, absolutely. And so the Alpha Goddess program is what I think is the most important thing for every woman to do, whether it's my program or just the fact that you really tap into your power and harness that and heal the trauma, heal the sister wounds, heal the mother wound, heal, the ancestral trauma, and learn how to receive, learn how to become all that you came here to be. Because when you understand and you do this program, it will change your life beyond any other type of program you can take. Because I do have manifestation programs and business programs and how to build your business and all that kind of stuff. But, and I do mentoring in all those areas. But the most important piece is the healing and the connection with that inner guidance. Because once you have done that, and so many people think, oh, I don't need that. Just going through this program will completely change how you communicate. You will learn your standards of communication. You will learn what your boundaries are and how to honor them. You will learn so much about your power and the innate power that you have. You will learn how to transmute energy. I'm going to give people healing tools so that they can heal themselves. And so, yeah, and once you go through something like this, then everything else you do, it's a transformation. Everything else that you do becomes incredible. And I do this work myself. And as I create these programs and I go through them myself, and I'm doing the work alongside these people. So this is the Alpha Goddess. You can find out more about that as well on my website. And and then I'm moving into there's another program that's coming up after it called Becoming Magic. So there is an opportunity that you can bundle it together, because it's really the Alpha Goddess and then Becoming Magic, which is all about the manifestation, right?
So the bottom line is everybody runs programs. That's it. Everybody runs programs. But what we need to do is decide if we'd like to be the program. And if you want to be the program, then you need to focus and you need to get yourself in the present moment and decide what you want in your life and go for it. And, I tell everyone, you know what? You've been running the same program all your life, and everybody in your family's been running the same program. So when you go to do a different program, you're going to upset the apple cart in your family, and people are going to go, well, we're not good enough for you. Our program's not good enough for you anymore. And that's when you're going to have to lovingly hold the line to make it through. Because what does almost everybody's subconscious say? I hate change. Well, yeah, really, you picked the wrong planet. You should have took a right turn before you got here. Because if you're not going to change, nothing else is going to change. And you've got to, you know what? Let me put it this way. We're all programmed. We're all programmed anyways. And these elite psychos, they've programmed us all to be unworthy, drink poison, eat poison, talk poison. Oh my God. We actually think that the medical system is healthcare. I mean, seriously. I mean, there's not much hope for the world right now. You got to wake up and you got to decide what it is you want, okay? And then you got to claim it and you got to own it. And you can't do that unless you're in the present moment, and you're never going to do anything different unless you're willing to repeat it 10,000 times. Like a robot. If I can say this, Simone, you know what? I'll tell you right now, maybe it was, let me see, I don't know, maybe about probably around 30 years ago, in between 25 and 30. I hit the wall. And I didn't say, if my life doesn't change, I'm going to kill myself. I said, I don't want to be here if I have to be here like this. So you got to watch what you say, because don't be starting any programs you don't really want. Okay. So I said, it's not going to stay like this. Right. And the reality is I made it my focus, because I could see right from the time that I began to walk and talk, it was the same bloody thing. It was the same bloody thing. You know, you'd have these periods, and then you have this conflict. And then I realized that everybody's just running a program. You take a look at someone, you know, some people have a little tissy fit 3 times a day. Some people every 3 days, they blow up for an hour. Some people every 2 weeks, they'll hide themselves in their bedroom for 4 days. Or I don't drink alcohol, but when I do, I blow my brains out. So everybody's got a program. But if you can start tracking yourself, like Simone said, and start figuring out those programs and decide that you're going to kick their butt out the door. What do you think, Simone?
100%. There's never been a more important time for women to rise and lead and to stand in their power, because we are, as a collective, we are being told to follow a certain narrative, to be afraid. We are going, oh my God, the planet is moving from 3D consciousness of fear into that 5D consciousness of love. And if you don't move with it, if you don't understand your power and stand in your power and stand up for who you are and the people you love, then you're going to be taken out. It's true. Like you said, there's an agenda that's not awesome, but we literally just need to remember who we are. And when we remember who we are, then everything that is happening, this programming, the fear mongering, all of these things that are happening are doing this to try and make you afraid so that you don't stand in your power.
Yeah, but Simone, we're forced with a choice right now. We're forced with a choice. You know what? Either wake up or break up. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even want to say the word, but, you know, before the C thing started to happen, because actually I said just the word and YouTube took me down yesterday. Yeah, now they're punishing me because I just said the word. Wow, it's a powerful word. Meanwhile, they're the ones who made it. But the reality is I'm going to tell you something. Do you actually think that we could have kept going the way we were going before the C thing started? Come on, let's be honest. Most people were so fearful before even that came along. They lived in fear. Okay. Yeah. The reality is planet Earth, get your act together. Okay. Because we were going down anyways. So what's going to happen is you're either going to wake up, you're going to be selfish enough to know what you need and your family needs, or guess what? You're getting kicked off this planet. And there's no other way to say it. You're getting kicked off because the vibration's coming up and people are going to be sacrificed unless they want to get into a new program. Yes.
Well, the planet is actually, like you just said, so when we talk about 3D versus 5D, what that really means is the planet itself has changed its vibrational frequency. And so if you don't move into a frequency that matches that, if you don't raise your vibe and stand in your power, then you will feel not good. You're going to struggle. You're going to suffer. And it's not going to be awesome. So really,
if I can say something, and to do that, you're going to have to what? You're going to have to become a human filter, because right now, believe it or not, it's a 20 to 80 ratio. There's 20% that are starting to wake up and vibrate a little bit here. I'm not saying that more won't do it, but understand something. And I just want to say this. A year ago, I could have come into a restaurant and worn a mask and they'd kick me out. They'd kick me out and say, you can't wear a mask in here. And I say, well, I'll take my mask off when I eat, but I've got to keep my mask on when I'm not eating. And you know what? Today, we're supposed to respect people that wear masks in restaurants and on the street and everywhere else. Well, guess what? I'm the king of my environment. You come to my clinic, you come to my house. There's a sign right there. If you've been vaccinated, you can't come in. If you're wearing a mask, please do not come in, because I am protecting the environment of my clinic for the people that actually believe that they are bigger than something that doesn't exist. And that is right on my door. And you know what? And then people will say to me, they'll actually call me up and go, you have no right to do that. Well, holy smokes. If it's been sanctioned by the government, then it's just a free-for-all. Well, understand something. That stops here. And the reality is this, just like Simone's saying, you either go in and you unleash that alpha goddess that's inside of you, okay, because nobody's going to tell you to do it. No one's going to help you do it. Your husband's not going to tell you, honey, could you go release your alpha goddess so that we could have a better life? He doesn't even know what that even means.
That's 100% true. And we really, really have to stand in our power. And like you were saying, you know, with everything that's going on in the world, that's creating all of this divisiveness and this fear, and you know, it's actually, you know, and then people wake up, and then people are seeing the truth, and then the something else comes out, something else to like derail the thing, you know, to keep you afraid. So if you're not afraid of you know, the sea, but then, and you're not afraid of that, well, then we'll make you afraid of, you know, the consequences of you not being afraid of that.
Yeah.
And so like, it's all about really keeping you in fear. And this is not who we are. This is not who we are. They're afraid of us. We are beings that have infinite potential and power. Yeah,
that's obvious that they're afraid of us, because only a bully, you become a bully because you're afraid of everything. That's what bullies are. And I want everybody to understand something. I don't reject people that have had the V, okay, or wear the mask. You have to understand something. I have to protect my clinic, okay, and everybody that comes here that's looking to change their life, because understand something. Fear doesn't change a life. Courage does. And I can't let fear walk in, because fear smells. It's got a stench to it. Okay, and then it gets on everybody else, and everybody else just wants a shower. I will protect the environment that I have. You know, we are going to be opening up what's called the Extapa World Healing and Training Center, and it's going to be the same rules there. You know, this is a safety place for brave hearts. This is a place for people who are saying, I will never live in fear. I know that I was created by God Almighty, and I know that the body can heal itself, and I'm bigger than everything else, and I'm here to prove that. So the reality is this. No, I do not negotiate with terrorists. Simone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And the other thing to remember too, though, is that as we're moving into a higher consciousness, we're shifting consciousness on this planet. It's really important to not go into that divisiveness where, like you said, it's not that you don't care about these people, but you do have to protect your energy. You do have to protect your environment. You do have to protect yourself. And so, you know, just knowing that not everyone has to agree, that we can give them love and compassion on both sides.
Well, of course. You know what? We are all family. And understand, I will consult them, talk with them, help them. We will do anything we can. There's no division here. But the reality, what does it mean? Like, you teach the same thing. What does it mean to love, honor, and respect yourself? That means that you, on an emotional and physical level, are not going to let things toxic, because you know as well as I do. Did you ever have a relationship and you're going, oh, you know what? You started to feel guilty, and you know that it never works, but then you went and called that person. It was only a 20-minute phone call, but then it brought you down for 4 days.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? You know what? You let go and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we hang on to a lot of toxic things that are familiar because we don't like change. And it's, you know.
I love change. I love change.
Yeah. I do too.
I think that's kind of obvious.
Change is evolution. It's growth. It's exciting. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
When we stay in the same old, it's like, no, you know, we go through the same toxic spin cycles over and over and over because we're so afraid to change, or we're so afraid to do something different. But we want something different, but we're afraid to do something different. But how can you expect something different if you don't do something different so that you can become different? You need to just really, it's not about what you do. It's about who you are when you do it. Okay. So really tapping in and understanding the truth of who you are, and then moving from that place changes everything. And so when I say, on a practical level, we're looking around at all of the divisiveness that's going on in this world, not you, because you're a walking love. And you are truly such a loving human being. And that's why I love you so much. But, we've got to look at each other and say, hey, we're sisters. We're brothers and sisters. We come from the same source, no matter what our beliefs are. And at the end of the day, we all want the best. We all want the same thing, which is, to be sovereign beings. We are sovereign beings. We have been given free will. And this is one of the things that we have to recognize in one another, is that we're sovereign beings. God gave us the gift of free will. And some of those people are going to use that free will based on their programming, based on their fear, to do things that they would not do if they were not in that fear.
So this is the deal. And I think you know this, and you see it with people that are going through your courses. They go along, and then they come to a crossroads. Do I continue to honor the dysfunctional beliefs in my family, in society, and society systems, or do I honor myself, and ride through the bumps, because there is bumps. There's going to be bumps, because when you start to break away from the herd will come after you, So there's the turning point for most people. Can they hold the loving line? Can they honor themselves enough? Because inside they know this is what they need. This is not what's going to just save them, but it's going to get them from a survival mode into a thrival mode. But it's just that, it's like people who smoke. Like I used to smoke, and if I just held off and took a breath for just a couple of breaths, I would just go, no, I don't need it. But it's that repetition of dysfunction. And now we've got to get the repetition of function. But the only way to do that is your family, your friends might feel like you're breaking away. And maybe you would be, because the reality is if you want to come up high enough to have a physical and emotional health, and nobody else is going to come up, every time that you want to go down there and then try to pull them up, how long can you hold somebody up?
Well, exactly. You're creating stress when you do that. And, and eventually it's going to break. But the point is that, like what you were saying, is it's so powerful that we play small in order to not be, thrown out of the tribe. So we want the love of our family.
We need approval.
Friends.
We need approval. Yeah. We need approval.
And so we end up playing small. But we don't think we are, because we say, no, I set goals and I hit those goals. But are you setting goals that that you can attain easily, because you're literally playing not to lose? You're playing not to lose. But if you set the goal, or you had the sight on something that was so extraordinary, that you look at that and you go, yes, that's my next level. That's where I'm going to. And you might fall, and then you get back up, or the people around you might go, who the hell do you think you are? Who does she think she is that she's going to do that?
Right.
And so, who do I think? Well, who the hell do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
I'm everything.
Yes.
That's right. You've got to become everything to you, because when you start to find yourself, you may be nothing to your family. And here's the deal. Simone, how many eagles have you seen in the sky at once? One, maybe two.
Mm-hmm.
Two mating or together. That's it. Yeah. How many turkeys have you seen in a field? And those turkeys, when there's a conflict and storm, they all huddle together. Oh my God. And some have a heart attack, fart attack, and die, because turkeys do. If there's a lightning storm, you're always going to find a few turkeys dead. Okay? And I'm talking about real turkeys now. But when there's a storm, what does an eagle do? An eagle flies above the storm and just hovers and minds its own business and looks after itself. And when the storm ends, it goes, time to land.
Mhm. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, it's up to you. Do you want to soar with the eagles, or do you want to be down with the turkeys? And I'm going to tell you something funny is that my son, who is now, he's 18. I have two little ones too, but this one, he used to say when he was little, we had this conversation, exactly what you just said. I would say, do you want to fly like an eagle? You want to soar like an eagle, or do you want to
gobble like a turkey?
Chickens and the turkeys. And he said, I want to soar like an eagle. And that was really so funny that you just brought that up, because that just brought back so much memory for me. But that's truly it. Like, do you want to stand in your power and lead and guide and be a beacon of light for the other people that need it?
Are you believing that you're soaring today, or do you feel like you just got plucked and stuffed?
That's right. And if you're not feeling like you're soaring and you want to, then you can, but you have to make some changes, and you have to, when you're afraid and you do it anyway, that's bravery. That's courage. That's having that brave heart. But when you're in fear and you let fear take the wheel and you're in the back seat, then you have no control. You're just going to not be happy. You're going to be struggling, and you have the opportunity to put fear in the back seat, step into the bravery, step into the courage, and do it anyway. You don't have to be fearless, because we're human here. We have fears, but we don't let the fears drive the ship.
But you know what? We should only be slightly smelling fear sometime. And if it is, it better be a real tiger, not a paper tiger. And it can't be CNN or Fox or somebody in your family having a temper tantrum or a hissy fit. Did you hear? Did you hear? So it can't be that either. But I think the bottom line here is taking anxiety and turning it into excitement. Because when you dump adrenaline and cortisol and you stay in anxiety, you actually cause dis-ease in yourself. When you start to feel a little bit of anxiety, right away, just go, I got this. And then turn that into excitement. And guess what? The adrenaline and cortisol burns off naturally. And that's the power of the invisible thought.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love also integrating breath work too, because if people just really, like you said earlier, when you are feeling that addictive pull to whether it's a cigarette or like a physical thing, or if it's a situation, or maybe you have a physical pull to drama, maybe you have a physical desire to be caught up in certain things, or like a desire to be caught up in certain things that creates this need. If you just learn to breathe and take a breath and reset that vagus nerve, then all of those 150 chemicals that are shooting off in your brain when you're feeling stressed out, and you just breathe deep, and you breathe all the way down into your womb space or your sacral if you're a guy, breathe all the way down into your lower tummy, and just very slowly breathe it in and breathe it out, and do that a few times. You will reset that nerve, and you will feel peace, and you will find that peace. So, I mean, everything that we've ever wanted and that we look at as human beings, that we want more money, or we want to travel, or we want all these things, and we want freedom. These are feelings that we really want. And we have the ability to give ourselves that feeling in every now moment. And like you said, you can, when you're feeling stressed out and scared and crazy, chemicals going on in your body, you can turn that into excitement for what's to come, for the infinite potential that you have available to you in this moment. Oh my God, what's coming? Right?
Yeah. We know that
asking empowering questions.
We know that the suicide rate has gone through the roof, and it's getting worse every month now. And we know that all of this suicide is happening all because of a thought that's been repeated, because our focus was in the wrong place. Okay. All right. You can't jump into a cesspool and not get some on you. And if you're jumping in that cesspool a few times a day, all right, your life is going to stink to the point that you won't want to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's huge. I love that because I'm glad that you brought that up, because it's incredible what disempowering yourself and disempowering thoughts over and over and over can create. So when you find yourself constantly saying, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" or "What's wrong with me?" or "Why is this happening?" This is taking away your power. If you can shift in that moment and say, "Okay, what's possible? What's the best thing that could happen? What's the best thing that could happen?" and start to empower yourself and ask. When you ask the universe these questions, ask and it is given. You will always get the answers. So if you can ask empowering questions, you'll start to see evidence and synchronicities that help you shift. And you can go from a place like the suicide and the alcoholism and the drug abuse and all of these things that are happening right now are because people are literally submitting and giving into the fear and giving away their power and feeling it's not something that they cannot turn around. It is possible, absolutely, to be able to turn this around.
Yeah, we just need to start looking out at life through the lens of unconditional love for ourselves. And, whether people want to believe this or not, just like the way women have been mistreated for 5,000 years, if you can't let go of the failure or the sinner syndrome, then you're going to hold yourself in judgment jail. You can forget it. Life isn't going to get better unless you're going to let yourself off the hook and learn instead of burn, because we can all learn, but we don't need guilt. Thank you very much. And we don't live in a justice society. We live in a guilt society, and I'm not having anything to do with it. So the day that you give up systems, organizations, associations, and corporations, we won't be an inflammation nation. End of story. Simone, what do you think?
I agree. I love that. And,
yeah.
A big part of the work that I do is around forgiveness, because the ancestral healing work is also forgiveness work, because when you carry that, like you just said, when you're carrying all of that energy and you're carrying all of those beliefs and all of that programming, and then you're judging yourself and you're punishing yourself and you're angry with yourself, it's so toxic. But when you can release, when you can forgive doesn't mean, okay, everything's okay that this person did or that what's going on in society right now. It's not that you're condoning it, but it's that you are foregoing and laying down your sword, where you are saying, okay, I am going to forego this energy. I'm not going to carry this energy anymore, but I am going to stand in my power.
Yeah,
right?
You're absolutely right. And I got to tell you, everybody, and this is how I truly feel. I don't need to forgive anymore. You know what? It's okay for me not to like what people are doing or the way they're thinking or behaving. Okay. But I'm not going to hate them over it. But the reality is here's the greatest thing that I think my greatest takeaway on forgiveness is. When I was younger, it was all about forgiveness. My father was a part-time pastor. I was raised as a Christian, and there are a lot of things were amazing about that. But the reality is I learned very young. It was a love and hate relationship every time I would forgive somebody that would do the same thing to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm supposed to forgive them. Well, just forgive them. No, I don't want them around me. If people aren't going to change, I don't want them around me. Why should I have to forgive them? It's the reality is somebody says, "Will you forgive me?" And I go, "I don't need to forgive you." The reality is if you're not going to change, you're not going to be around me. I'm not doing this. So it's not about forgiveness. No, it isn't. I'm at a point in my life where I'm not going to forgive, but I don't hate and I have no anger. The reality is it's not about forgiveness. You need to practice that for yourself, or else you're never going to heal or go anywhere. But you know what? And apologize if you hurt people. But the reality is this, that whole forgiveness thing, I'm going to tell you, I've been in relationships where I forgive you, or people will forgive me all the time. It's like, geez, that is insanity. Either change or hit the road. Okay.
Yeah.
Work on it.
Yeah. I mean, forgiveness, like I say, it's not about forgiving someone because they did something wrong and you're saying it's okay. And now it's really about, for me, it's just foregoing carrying the toxic energy about it. You know what I mean?
Well, I've got relatives that, that it, that it didn't go good, that they really gave it to me. And the reality is I have the same love for them as I have for everybody else. So I don't hold on to that. You can't hold on to this bitterness. The bitterness pill, okay, is the red pill or the blue pill. It really is. You can't take the bitterness pill. You take that, and it's going to be a long road. I can remember when I was younger, about the age of 22, fell in love with this girl in high school or college, actually. And this other guy liked her. And every time I go to a party, he'd punch me in the face. The reality is after a couple of those punches in the face, I can remember for the longest time, I would be laying in bed thinking all of the ways that I could kill him. Yeah. So the problem wasn't him. It was actually me. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's just it. So you're laying there thinking all these negative things and you're holding on to this anger and so it's toxic. It's just toxic and you want to let that go. So like foregoing that energy. It's not like forgiveness in the sense that we're taught in Christianity. It's a little bit different than that. So, but yeah, just really letting go of the things that you carry around other people, but about yourself.
Why can't you just love yourself today? Why can't you just do it? Why can't you pretend that you're going to have the greatest love relationship with your life? And oh my God, it's yourself. Simone, why don't you tell us about your course and how people can get in touch with you?
Well, my newest course is the Alpha Goddess, and it's absolutely life-changing and transformational. And you're going to heal a lot. You're going to grow a lot. You're going to create an entirely different life after you take this program. And I will absolutely tell you that when you invest in yourself and you say yes to what's inside of your soul by saying yes to you, then that's the first step for you to continue on that path. Because we constantly say, well, I don't have the money for this, or I don't have the time for that. And when we do that, we're pushing everything that's important under the rug, and we're getting caught up in the day-to-day, and nothing changes, and years go by, and we're still in the same cycles, and we're still stuck. And we have to, like I said, this is the time that women are rising. We're moving into a new paradigm. We are shifting into a higher consciousness. Women must lead. Feminine energy must be. Imagine what it would look like if the world had all of the wealth in the hands of the people who could actually know that they were worthy enough to hold it and then do something incredible and create impact and betterment for the planet and the people on it, rather than money being in the hands. And I bring this up just because, everybody wants to have all this money. Everybody wants to create, a great business. Everybody wants to have a wonderful, loving relationship. But if they don't know that they're worthy of holding it, they will never be able to hold that power. They will always limit themselves. And this isn't what you came here for. You didn't come here to be treated like crap. You didn't come here to struggle and just get by. You didn't come here to live paycheck to paycheck. You didn't come here to say that the government is your source, that the man is your source, that the job is your source, that the economy is your source. No, you are your source. God is your source. And this is what this is about. And so you can go to my website. It's SimoneHodgins.com. The Alpha Goddess information is there. Or you can also just find me on Facebook, Simone Hodgins. You can DM me. I'm there on Instagram as well. Just my name. And you can message me. You can ask me whatever you want. I love, love, love connecting with people. And Yeah. So you can ask me whatever you want and connect with me. You don't just have to jump in. You can talk to me about it and see where you're at and see what works for you, because I also do one-on-one mentorship as well. So, whatever it is that you really, really want to do, I can talk to you about that. So
Beautiful. Thank you, Simone.
thank you. It was 11:11.
It was what?
It was 11:11 when I was just talking.
11:11.
So just putting that in there for you guys.
Beautiful.
So,
Thanks for joining me. So have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so, so grateful to everyone here that has given their time to listen to us and be part of this. And I love you and I appreciate you so much.
Your information is amazing, Simone. Keep it up. Thank you so much. We're blessed.
Thank you.
There you go, everyone. So you know what? You better get in there and start releasing your goddess within. Hey, what about you guys? You think maybe you could do that? Maybe if you started releasing the goddess within, maybe you'd become a little bit more feminine, and then you would listen to your wife, your partner, and that would be really important. You know what it is? Men think in a straight line. So it's like problem solution. Women kind of think like this, and thank God they do, because they slow us down. Okay. What we do is if we see a tree, we see a picnic table. They see a tree and they want to hug it, or where's the bird in the tree? The reality is that there's got to be balance here. And this world needs the feminine power to rise. So you women, take a look at Simone's course and check her out on her Facebook, get to know her, and get to know her really good. So thank you for joining me for that show, everyone. I just want to say this before I go, that our Get Fit sale, okay, that's the belly button therapy kit, the natural skin brush, because guess what? Your skin is your largest organ of the body, and it gets your circulation going when you skin brush. And don't forget about clapping, really important. You know what? Every time you have a pain, there's a block. Every time you have a block, there's pain. And understand something. Do you want to wait until the next treatment, or do you want to take it into your own hands? So go check out my Clapping for Health, Clapping for Life guide in my library, and know that this sale ends 1 minute to midnight on Monday. So you only have basically 1 day left. And then we've got our core twisters. Okay. Do you ever, chubby checker, twist the night away? Anyways, that's our core twister. You get on it and you twist. And when you do that, you straighten your spine and you detoxify your organs, and you put a little bit of disco on, or whatever you like, or country and western, and you twist away to the music. Hey, music's a beautiful thing. Make sure too in these times that you have music on in your house. There's a time for peace and quietness, but put the music on in your home when you were the happiest. When were you the happiest? And put that music on, and then take yourself there, because everything is frequency. Everything is frequency. Everything we eat, everything we drink, the people we hang around with, everything is about frequency, because we are light, energy, electrical, magnetic beings, first and foremost. And if you want to go check out our Get Fit sale, just go to store.docofdetox.com, 20% off on these products. I want to thank everybody for joining me. And just know this, okay? Why don't you have the best day of your life? Why don't you really just say, today, I'm going to see if I can go through the rest of the day, totally love, honor, and respect myself. And I'm going to observe what I say, how I think, what I drink, what I eat, and how my family treats me and how I treat them. And I'm going to start tracking the programs that we're all running. Okay? You might find that a little bit of fun. I want to thank everybody for joining me. And don't forget this, Braveheart. You got this. Good day, I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe. Do you know why you or your friends or your family are struggling with their health? Well, because they've never been given a strategy. And every time they go to see a health practitioner, whether it's medical or natural, all they're doing is getting Band-Aids. What if we were able to create a strategy that you could create the perfect day from the minute you woke up until you went to bed, and then we continue to guide and support you along your journey as you grow your program grows? And what if you only paid one price, and you had unlimited support and guidance for the rest of your life? That's called the Perfect Day Consultation. So what is a New World Practitioner? Well, a New World Practitioner is somebody that understands that training comes before treatment. And a New World Practitioner understands that you can't give what you're not. So until you understand that unconditional love and care for oneself is what you need to become so that you can give that to your patients, don't expect a different outcome than every other practitioner out there. And that's what we teach here, because you need to become what you want to see in all of your patients. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.